In this video, I'm going to talk about burnout with driving simulators and, more importantly, how to avoid getting burnt out with driving simulators. Fasten your seatbelts, make yourselves a very strong cup of tea, and let's get on with the video. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and also I really appreciate everybody that's been involved with the channel. We've had loads of really good comments recently, actually. A lot of interest and a lot of thought put into comments. We've had a few comments where I think people have bludgeoned themselves on the forehead with a breeze block before writing, but for the most part 99% of our comments are awesome. I really appreciate that. So with that said, burnout and how to avoid it. First of all, what is burnout? I think it's quite a hard thing to fully define, but the way I would describe burnout is that you have an expectation that you're going to get enjoyment from something. So in this case, sim racing, you've got into it. You really like racing in general. You like the idea of motorsport. You like the idea of simulated motorsport. You like video games. You've got into it. You really enjoyed it initially, and over time, what's happened is you're no longer getting enjoyment from it. I think that sort of really encapsulates burnout, is when you stop enjoying something that you think you should be enjoying. Now, what causes burnout is normally, I think, when you try to push too hard to get the enjoyment out of something that's no longer giving you that enjoyment. It gets kind of complicated though, because in some cases, I think there's cases where you actually just don't enjoy something and you really should just stop doing it. It's not that you're burnt out. You literally just, it's not for you. You've done something, you've got out of it everything that you could possibly get out of it for your subjective preferences, and that's it. That's done. Fine. You just need to put it to one side and move on. You literally don't enjoy it. I think burnout is different. I think burnout occurs when actually you do still really enjoy something, but you are struggling to still derive enjoyment from it. Now, in the case of what I describe as actual burnout, that second example, the solution is actually really quite simple. The solution is to do less of the thing that you want to be doing, and to look at other ways of doing something similar within the same context, but approaching it from different angles. So you're still getting aspects of novelty, new angles of progress, and different ways of yielding reward from the similar context of what you're doing. So with sim racing, I think a lot of people that get burnt out with driving sims is because they are just playing one racing simulator. For example, there's people that just play iRacing. That's all they do. They get hyper focused on getting their rank to a certain level, and they get to that rank. Well, that's it. What's the point in them playing it anymore? They were getting all their enjoyment, not necessarily from sim racing, but from getting to a specific rank in iRacing. Or they just drive one car, one series, and just constantly do that to a point where, surprise, surprise, it actually gets boring. And though it was really fun at first, and though maybe chasing that objective was really fun, once you hit it, or once you're doing it all the time, it gets boring. It's just repetitive. It's lost its novelty, and you're not going to get excitement from it. So what you need to do, as I say, is you need to actually do things from different angles and look at different activities in the hobby. So within sim racing, a really good way to reinvigorate excitement and enjoyment from sims if you're currently feeling burnt out is, if you're playing iRacing, go and try some of the other bloody driving simulators. Race Room, especially in Europe at ranked times, Assetto Corsa, the original one. If you're playing that, you could do that with there's loads of online lobbies, or you can do series sim racing GP. And if you're really stuck up on you want to do the competitive racing, obviously you've got low fuel motorsport, but if you're getting a bit bored of that competitive racing thing and you can't help yourself but chasing that competition, then you might actually want to look at doing not track racing. Jump onto something like Richard Burns Rally and do some rally driving. It's completely different from track racing. It's a completely different focus, and even better for your mental health, there's more grass and trees, which is proven to help you relax. Like, literally proven. I'm pretty sure it has to be the real thing, not simulated. But for me, grass and trees, simulated or real, always do the trick. So yeah, even within the context of driving simulator, trying different driving simulators is a fantastic way to alleviate the burnout. Also, I didn't mention, if you normally drive Formula cars, try driving retro cars. Try driving something like the Nordschleife or the 1960s racetracks, as opposed to just driving new racetracks. That really does diversify things a lot. Now, that's within the context of sim racing. What I would say, and what is probably a really big problem for a lot of sim racers, is that, and gamers, I've had this problem, is that you can just get stuck playing games, basically. Really, what you need to do is you have to have a healthy balance in life, with stuff away from a computer. I'm a complete hypocrite. I spent like 13 hours a day on a computer. But weirdly, I don't tend to get that burnt out. Next video will be me going, how I got burnt out on live streaming and YouTubing. But generally speaking, I don't tend to get that burnt out on it. Specifically because I do a lot of stuff outside of the computer where possible. I do a lot of walking. You can't beat walking. And getting out of that unhealthy, complete focus on playing one single game or doing one activity constantly, or always just being on your computer doing a single thing, breaking that up by doing multiple things, say walking, general exercise, going out. I don't necessarily mean going out on to drinking and stuff. Drinking is terrible. Don't do drinking. I mean, I don't know. Some people enjoy it. It's not for me. Bars, too noisy, you can't hear what people are saying. Bloody going out, it's terrible. But like going out, you can go to like clubs where you're doing sport activities, walking groups. Again, my whole life revolves around walking. But like the point is doing lots of different things is going to really help you avoid getting burnt out in one single thing. It's like the same as if you just ate porridge every single day. You're going to get bored of it, aren't you? But if you mix up your porridge, put some fruit in there, or even better, eat something different than porridge, you're going to have a better time of life and you're not going to get burnt out. So, yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's very self-explanatory. Just do lots of things. You're probably going to be happier and you're probably going to avoid burnout. I do think, though, with games and with sim racing, they are designed to lure you in. They're specifically set up to get you to be addicted to them. They are fundamentally addictive, and as a result, they're fundamentally the type of activity that will cause you to get burnout. And when you identify burnout, it's very easy to avoid it. It's a lot easier to avoid it depending on how self-destructive you are. But if you've identified it, great. If you're someone that hasn't identified it, then that is where it becomes really dangerous, and that's where I think you can get into a very sort of repetitive and depressive mindset over it. That's happened to me actually with CSGO. I was using it as a sort of escape mechanism, and that's worth talking about as well. You could have something in your life that's not going too great, or something you're unhappy with, and driving sims are a very hypnotic thing and can really help take your focus away from stuff. Again, that can then lure you into just doing the driving sim, racing constantly, where, yeah, you're being distracted from something that's not enjoyable, something that's stressful, but too much of that distraction might mean that you're not actually addressing the issue that's causing the discomfort and distress. So you're only making things worse for yourself. It's all a trap. The whole thing is a trap. All of life is just a constant trap. So it's all about balance. It's all about identifying if you're feeling burnt out. And I think if you're playing a driving sim and you're sat there, most people come to realization, you're like, hang on a minute, I'm not enjoying this. What am I doing? It's just procrastination. I'm not actually enjoying it. You have to just be self-reflective and go, look, I'm not actually enjoying it. And then you need to, as I say, try different driving sims, or ideally, probably for a lot of people, just do completely different activities. There you go. I wonder how many people actually feel like they get a bit burnt out with racing simulators in general. As I say, I think games are particularly bad for getting people sucked into the state of being burnt out, and also sucked into the inability to identify that you're actually burnt out. You're not helping yourself. So it'd be interesting to know in the comments how burnt out the sim racing the Game of Muscle viewers. They're burnt out of the Game of Muscle videos. They're like, bloody hell, if he uploads another video, oh god, I can't watch it. Clickbait title. Oh, I hate my life. So yeah, it'll be interesting to know what you guys think. Hopefully this video is a little bit helpful. Sorry it's a bit meandering and not particularly precise. I'm too thick for precision, which is why if I was a brain surgeon, well, that's why I'll never be a brain surgeon. It wouldn't be good. We've cut his leg off, but you're a brain surgeon. Anyway, thanks for watching this, guys. Really appreciate you watching it. Make yourselves another cup of tea. And until the next one, goodbye, guys.